It is so hard to believe that we are here at the end of day one. Insane.
Already.
I feel like it just started like a half hour ago.
Right.
But we're here with a special guest, Tracy Wilson.
Hello.
Tracy, of course, we have to have you for the recaps. You're bringing the energy from the start every single day.
Well, it is so exciting. You know, when we talk about this a lot, so we're going to call this, I think, top 5 on live with your host highlight show.
Top 5
do we
on
like
live.
This? Do we like top 5 on live?
I like that. It's official. Yeah, we've taken a vote.
Is that good? Is that
vote?
Well, and so it's interesting. So what we decided is we're gonna find our top 5 things to talk about, and then I had this idea that we would like rank. You go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But like, how do you choose?
Yeah.
It's impossible to actually rank. So we'll all talk about 5 things, but not really in any particular order.
You came to us and you mentioned the top 5, and I was like, I can't. Like, I can come up with like the top 5, just 5 of my favorite things that I've experienced, but I can't rank them today. I can't do that. It's too much.
Ranking is too hard. It's too much pressure, and it's we're gonna talk about our days. And like you said, how is it the end of day 1 already? I feel like so much prep, so much energy, so much effort goes into the day, and all of a sudden we're like, this day is over already.
I know.
Yeah.
What?
You know, one thing that I'm very envious of you over, we get to speak with a lot of people out, on the floor, in the Hive, in the playground.
Yes.
We have a lot of interesting people like Ariane, of course, who was just here.
Fantastic.
So that's all great. But some of the things that I miss, and of course you have the best view of it, is the energy in general session, right? We had a lot of product announcements, a lot of really inspirational stories. We had Lonnie Johnson giving the keynote. I don't want to say too much, but
he's on the list.
But yeah,
Put it on your top 5, Sean. Put it on your top 5. You're skipping ahead.
I was going to say it might be on my top 5.
All right,
Some
so
of
let's
them
go
might
for
overlap.
it. Let's go for it.
Some of them might overlap.
Oh,
right?
I'm sure. Yeah.
But yes, okay.
I have a feeling all 10 of the ones you're going to say, I'm going to be like,
we might
I should have put that on my list.
Okay, so it'll be our we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, right?
We'll figure it out.
Live.
We'll figure it out.
It's live.
So let's start with Lonnie Johnson.
Let's start with Lonnie Johnson.
Yeah.
And so like you said, I get to see the energy from in the room. I host general session, everyone comes running in. And one of the privileges about hosting general session is not only do I get to introduce our dignitaries of our event and also the keynotes, but I also get to hang out with people backstage a little bit. And that really is a privilege to get and you also get to chat with everybody here on the desk. And to get to know them also on a little bit of a personal level is amazing.
Sure.
So yes, I think I absolutely have on my list keynote Dr. Lonnie Johnson. He is, So if you don't know who he is, if you weren't able to be with us this morning or don't know him yet, you might know the Super Soaker water gun. So this is what he is most famous for. But what's interesting about it is he talked about how that invention was really the invention that afforded him to really work on other inventions. He has more than 100 patents for energy-related inventions. And I also thought it was really important that he is a black man who grew up in the 60s. And he talked about this is Black History Month, that's very important, and how difficult it was growing up and the challenges that he faced as a black man wanting to be an engineer and the educational barriers. And I think that's important to note how far he has come because he talks about the struggle that he faced. He talks about humans are built to solve problems.
Yeah, I like that line
right?
too.
And some of that was his own barriers and then his ability to invent. I just thought he was, and here's a really fun thing he said in his keynote, or maybe he said this to me backstage, I don't remember because it was so great. He said, as a kid, he thought all the inventions had already been invented.
He said that.
Yeah.
Right?
Wasn't
that great? That he thought they'd all been invented. It's like, oh, that's funny because then you have to.
Well, it's funny. I think one of the most interesting things that I felt as I was watching his keynote was that very line. Because I started to think, wow, like, Lonnie had just gone through, of course, when he was a kid and going through, the robotics competition that he won, or the competition that he won. And I was like, wow, I was thinking of all the technological advances. And I'm thinking of all the stuff that he wound up inventing. He has so many patents to his name. I've done a lot of research on him, especially since I knew he was coming to the world. I was like, I have to learn about this guy. And to think that person had that thought.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it should force all of us here, regardless of what you're doing, if you're an artist, a maker, an engineer, an executive, to rethink, like, have all the great things been done in my sphere, in my area, right?
And clearly, no, right? We continue to grow, and that was one of the things he talks about growth a lot. Yeah. And he said, he encouraged everyone, you must persist. You must keep going, because all the inventions haven't been, were we talking about cell phones when he was in high school? No.
No.
And what's next? And he did talk about like the rate and how quickly things are being invented. When he talked about like the rock was a tool at one point. I thought that was really profound as well.
Yeah, I did as well. I wanted to call this out. It's very topical because we're talking about Lonnie Johnson. That tomorrow we're going to have the opportunity to do exactly what you said. He's going to be here. So he's going to be here as part of our pre-show for the R&D themed general session. You can find that on our YouTube right now. So we'll have 15 minutes by ourselves with Lonnie Johnson. Yeah, just to roam around. We have tons of questions for him between Jesse and I. But yeah, I guess Jesse, what's one of yours?
Well, I was just going to say, we flip-flopped our positions this year, right? So I got to see the crowd go by, which was a lot of fun. we flipped over, and that sounds ridiculous to see the crowd go by and wave and say hello to everybody. But it does relate to what you just said, like talking to somebody backstage. It was like, okay, that was maybe the highlight was just like talking to them individually. Same with Ariane, who we just had on. We were just we had coffee with him yesterday, and that's the benefit of coming here, right? Like it's cool. It's great that we can have the technology to stream this out to everybody, and we can share as much of this with you if you can't be here as possible. But you miss the opportunity to maybe get the best part, which is just having coffee with somebody or talking to them as they come off stage or whatever. And that's what I love. So just like seeing everybody going by and saying, 100 people that I know say, hey, how's it going? The one time a year we get to see it, it's got to be on my list.
It's on the list. And I'm gonna flip around my list, I think, is because I'm gonna piggyback off some of it. So, because speaking about being in the room, and this talks about being in the room. So one of the things we have to talk about was GP's entrance.
Yes.
Okay, GP's entrance. He came in on a 1965 Shelby Cobra e-car. And that was by Muscle e-cars. They had it, took out the engine, put it in an e-engine, and they're here. You can see his car, so if you're here with us on site, in front of General Session, you can see that car. They have other cars in the playground.
I didn't even see it was out already.
We can see it from here.
Oh, wow,
which is kind of amazing. But that was a lot of fun. But not only was it his entrance, of course, and his flashy entrance, which he always wanted to do. It was very fun. But he talked a lot about the 25th anniversary and how much the community has grown.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really wonderful to talk about this community. 25th time we've done this event. It's pretty wonderful. It's pretty wonderful to see how it's all grown, how this has grown. Right? How this there wasn't the live desk on YouTube 25 years ago.
I don't know whose internet at home would have, or at their office would have been able to support that. I could barely check my email.
What's next on your list?
So I was thinking about what you just said, how things have changed, and we were all younger at some point, and we went through the playground, we saw all these sorts of different booths and all these different types of technologies. One of the things that I found most remarkable, or at least the thing that's been sticking with me the most so far as I've started to digest today, were the students in the 3DEXPERIENCE EDU zone. The reason is I started to think, what was I like back then, and working on similar things, but also I think one of the things I found most remarkable was how ready and willing those students were, the skill set they had, the soft skills. I want to go back in there and say that to one of the students that was pitching his FSAE car. Wow. I was like, you sound like so many people, and to be frank, so many people that have been doing this sort of thing for like 20, 30 plus years, their entire careers, right? Are not as at ease or as competent as explaining it is a live present, but they are not as at ease or as competent at explaining what they have, put together as you are. And I'm guessing he was like 15 or 16 years old. Just insane. Is
it, do you think, the confidence of the software, a confidence of the community? Like, what do you think helps a young person in this industry have that confidence?
Well, I had the good fortune of working with a FIRST robotics team over the past 2 years, and I mentored them as part of a project that we were putting on here. And I think one of the things that I found was that mentors, I think, are just a bit more aware and a bit more sort of encouraging about putting their students into those sorts of contexts, right? Because we all know, regardless of which discipline you're in life, there comes a time when you're going to have to talk about your work, right? Whether that's in a job interview or if you're pitching a company, you're looking for investment. if you're looking to make a business deal, whatever it is, looking to make a sale, whatever it is in your life, you're going to have to do that. So better to do that when you're 15 and 16 as you're developing those skills, becoming confident in those skills, and understanding that my internal confidence can be conveyed as external confidence. I thought that was amazing.
That's what I love about those programs too. Like as a young engineer, you design and build a race car and go race it. Like that's a crazy cool confidence builder. Like we built this thing, we're out on the track racing other people with it. It's a really cool experience. I was in there chatting with the SAE guys the other day too.
Yeah, so that was definitely one of mine. I'm sure I wanted to pick that one. It meant a lot to me, but I'm sure that probably isn't the last playground themed.
I was going to top
five.
There's a couple on my list. There are a couple on my list in the playground for sure. And with that, it's Brandeis University, right? I never say it exactly quite right. But the Makerspace team is here, and I don't know but they built a combat robot cage with the help of Solidworks.
Yeah.
It's here. They told me.
That's my next stop right after
is
this.
It your next
I'm
stop?
going right there.
But not only that, but you can go in battle. Like if you are here on site, you can go in battle. Like you can do that. You can be a part of it. You can come not only watch, but you can participate. And this cage, they said in the last couple of days, 900 screws they had to add to make it work. Solidworks supported making this happen. It's going to go back to the college afterwards, so they're going to have it to continue to have these battles, which is just phenomenal. That's something that we help support, that they will take back with them to their school, to their Makerspace team. So shout out to Tim and Len, who I met. That was fantastic, and they were really excited to have people come and try it in person to play with them.
Yeah, the entire space was in my list for sure. The Maker Zone had so much. We tried to get through there, and we were like, we have to leave. We saw like half of it in our zip through the playground, and there was no way.
There's so much, and you really do. If you're hands-on, you need to commit some time to it.
Yeah. Just spend one of the whole days just in the Maker Zone.
Yes.
Super cool stuff in there.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that was absolutely incredible. What we were able to go through. So yeah, what's one of yours, Jesse? What's another top 5?
I have an obscure one.
Okay,
that's good.
I think we've hit a lot of the ones on my list already, but I have an obscure one. This morning when we had Gian out and about talking with people, Alin said that he liked people disagreeing with him. He liked coming to teach his sessions because he liked when somebody in the audience would say, actually, I do it different. And I loved that line because I totally agree with him. We have such a cool community of people that are really good communicators.
Yeah.
I would say probably engineers are not being billed as good communicators, but for whatever reason within this community, I think we are. But I would totally agree with that. I love teaching a session and you say, okay, this is how I do it. Somebody says, actually, I have a better way. And I love that. That happens a lot at this event, and I picked that line out.
That's excellent, because isn't that the point, right? Iterate, get better, get faster, get smoother, share the knowledge. That's what this event is about, sharing the knowledge. That's why we're here.
Sure. Yeah, I really 100%. Like that.
Yeah. I think another one of mine, just as we kind of start to wrap up here, for me.
I have so many more things.
Well, I will wrap 5. But I know.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So one of mine was definitely the Hive. It was absolutely insane in the Hive in all the best ways. We had people playing music.
Yes.
We had artwork. We had 3 models up. We had an awesome space mouse that you can kind of use to navigate around it. We had great swag, of course, and super interesting people. We had somebody doing a podcast while somebody else was filming. It was sort of a mecca of creativity. If you're ever afraid about making good connections, whether it's through meetups in the Hive, we talked about those, or just making friends, like just going to the Hive to have a cup of coffee and, whatever it is, there's a place in the Hive for you, and I'm really proud that we created that space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so great, and I think that's this whole event. If you are walking around in this hotel, in this space, and you are wearing that lanyard, you see that badge, say hi to someone.
Yeah.
It is free reign to say, like, oh, look, we are part of the same community.
Yeah.
This is about community. We talk about 25th anniversary of growing this community, so say hi to people in this beautiful community.
Sean and I have said that for years, not just at this event, but if I find somebody that uses SolidWorks, I'll go up and say hello. And
that's great.
I swear 100% of the time, you'll have an enjoyable conversation with them. It's just universal.
They're your people, right?
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So you mentioned you have a lot. You have a lot of good stuff.
I'll do one more.
Because you were so enthusiastic about this. I do not want to deny you.
I know. Okay. Well, I'll just do one more. It's back to the playground.
The playground's amazing.
I caught up with Christine in Magic Wheelchair. which is like a favorite of ours. It's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, for sure.
I love to support them throughout the year, follow them on social media. So if you don't know, they are a nonprofit organization that builds epic costumes for children in wheelchairs. But what she talked about is not only are they now working on making them fun from the outside, it's so great for everyone to see, and the kids feel so good about everyone looking at their costumes, but now they're making them more adaptable from the inside, more having adaptive buttons, so it's enjoyable from the child on the inside as well. And I thought that was like we were talking about, how do we get better? How do we move forward? How do we continue on? How do we grow the community? And so I just thought that was really wonderful to listen to her talk about that.
I thought so too. Yeah, they mentioned that when we dropped by during our visit to the playground. And there were a couple methods through which they were making it more accessible, right? Of course, the size of the button that they were showing, but also the cost, making it more cost accessible. So yeah, it's just huge, and of course, super heartwarming.
Super heartwarming.
100%. Yeah, we got a chance to visit a lot of interesting places throughout the year. Yeah, I see we have some B-roll of the
VIP lounge. Yes, there's a VIP lounge this year, so if you want to feel fancy,
we didn't even get
come
to
hang out in the VIP lounge.
Yeah, we interviewed.
If you're VIP, we'll get y'all VIP. Right?
We saw Manish. We interviewed him right outside of the VIP lounge as we were setting up. But yeah, it's a nice space. We had some robots roaming around in the playground. Technologically, I would say, and really, I'm checking myself with bias. I felt this was the most sort of advanced playground that we had. Just tons of different robots, different capabilities.
And it was, there were so many students and young people just busy around the shop floor, really into it, really excited. And I was like, oh yeah, you could feel like the success of it. It felt really fantastic.
Yeah, Chris was showing us that bowl that they created.
Oh wow.
It's interesting, kind of in the lead up to 3D Experience World, like Chris was putting on the toolpath for that and getting it all good and ready. We'll have to check in with Jen to see how many people have participated in Model Mania, right? She mentioned a funny factoid to me off air, so I'll tell it to you guys, that on day one, there aren't as many people as you would think participating in Model Mania. Yeah, and I said, why do you think that is? And part of it potentially was that people might be procrastinating, a little bit intimidated. I was intimidated just standing by the booth. But maybe they're thinking like, man, if I mess this up, I don't want to be going day 2, day 3, knowing like I don't have my chance anymore.
Aww.
So they keep it till day 3 when they're like, all right, it's now or never.
That's my last
I have
chance.
to do it. I'm in Dallas in this case. I have to do Model Mania. So I thought that was kind of funny.
That's fun. That's pretty good. But you have to do it.
Have to do it.
Have to do it. Yep. So day 3, she said, is by far the most attended of all the Model Mania
I've been
days.
trying to get in Model Mania at the last minute so they don't miss out.
So if you want to beat the crowds,
that's right.
go early.
Yeah,
Go
true.
early.
Yeah, we're on the loudspeakers. So if anyone wants to do Model Mania,
event
you
tip right there.
probably get there now. So
Amazing.
what else we got, Tracy? I mean, what other types
Well,
of?
I just say one more thing. I know. I mean, because we could talk forever about the highlights of our
No,
days
I know.
because we
Yeah.
have a good time. I love to chat with you. Like you said, we both see it from different sides. And speaking from my view from the stage in general session, there's actually a VIP section in there as well.
didn't know that.
Yes,
Wow.
there is VIP seating in general session. That's kind of cool. So something to think about for when you're here next year. VIP seating. Pretty nice.
So if you're if you're watching, we're winding down the stream here. I just wanted to show that QR code one more time.
Great, yes.
If you're watching today, this is by far the longest we're streaming throughout the 3 days. Although we have purposeful streams the next 2 days, so look out for that on our YouTube. There's the QR code right there. If you want to stay in the know, just like it says there, stay in tune with all the news around 3D Experience World 2025 as it's released. We will make sure you remember. So just go there, sign up, and we'll make sure to get you the updates.
Fantastic.
But
and we'll keep bringing the live
The
top 5.
73.
Let's do top 73. We're going to keep telling you like our favorite parts of the day, and it includes everyone walking by right now and getting to say hi.
100%. So tomorrow we'll be back. Just to close up, tomorrow we'll be back. Fresh in the morning, we'll have Lonnie Johnson at the desk as part of our pre-show.
I love it.
We have day 2 general session, which is R&D themed. So if you're interested in the software side of things and how things are being developed and some of the most interesting use cases there outside of the walls of Solidworks and Dassault System with our actual customers, definitely check that out. And then at a more specialized level, we have these other streams.
That's right.
We have design as one stream, a full design domain session for our design applications, use cases, customers and design software using customers, and then something very similar afterwards that's its own stream for simulation. And then next up we have manufacturing with some amazing keynotes. I just actually saw some individuals from the manufacturing stream recently. So we have a lot of great content in store for you guys.
Fantastic.
Yep. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Tracy,
for
stopping by.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Jesse.
This is my top 5, hanging out with you.
Yeah, thank you to Ian, our producer. Amazing work behind the scenes. He's always zipping around. Thank you to Kramer, our production crew. Thank you to all of our guests, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.